You folks at home know my passion for surf fishing and have seen us hit the surf from Montauk to Long Beach several times over our 16 years on the fishing line. This week's program is a real treat for me as we get back to basics and show you folks at home how to make a couple of real cow-killer lures using rigged eels and eelskin plugs. Our guest this week is my longtime friend, commercial fisherman, and past tackle shop owner Joe Gullo, who learned these tricks years and years ago from the legendary Al Benson, who sadly passed away in 2009. Joe has used these living lures to slay many cows in the surf and around the bridges himself. We'll show you today how to rig the eel, how to assemble the eelskin plug, the items you'll need to make both, the knots to use, and of course some great insight from my guest on the uses for both as well. Stay with us. It's going to be a very informative program. We'll be right back here on The Fishing Line.
All right, folks, it's time for the Northeast Premier Fishing Show, The Fishing Line with Rich Johnson, now in our second decade. The Fishing Line is brought to you by Marine Formula Stable. To prevent the damaging effects of ethanol in your fuel tank, use Marine Formula Stable. And by the Long Island Power Authority. More choice, better service, LIPA. And by the Fishing Report Hotline. 24-hour fishing reports by phone when you need them.
Hey fishermen! For the most comprehensive reports and fishing information on the internet, log on to www.thefishingline.com. Thefishingline.com has fishing reports for boats, surf, freshwater, or party and charter boats for Long Island's tri-state area. Now you can listen to the Fishing Line radio show live on the web, Saturdays at 4 p.m. or see video clips of the TV show. Know where they are, not where they were, with thefishingline.com. What you need to know in fishing, it's www.thefishingline.com.
Oh, fish on, here we go. Hey folks, when I'm not out here doing the Fishing Line television show, guess what I'm doing? I'm on WGBB 1240 AM bringing you the Fishing Line radio show every Saturday afternoon with up-to-the-minute fishing reports throughout the show, weekly guest experts sharing their tips and secrets, and we take your phone calls live on the air. If you want to know where the fish are, not where they were, join me every Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. on WGBB 1240 AM radio for the Fishing Line. Hey folks, you've been coming to the FishingLine.com site for years for the only up-to-the-minute fishing reports on the web. Now get the same great reports 24 hours a day by telephone. That's right, the new Fishing Line report line is up and running, and best of all, it's free. No membership fees, no pay-by-the-minute fees that cost you nothing. A free phone call for the best updated reports 24 hours a day, all by phone. Call 516-977-2088, 516-977-2088. Joe started his love affair of the water at a young age snapper fishing before moving into the offshore game also very early. Like most of us, this passion continued on, with Joe mastering both recreational and commercial fishing, culminating in 8 50-pound stripers to his credit. Joe, I want to thank you for coming down and showing us the secret, old-fashioned way to rig eels. And where did you learn how to do this?
I learned from a gentleman named Al Benson. He was probably the originator of rigging eels. He's been fishing them over 50 years and caught numerous amounts of very large fish on them. And basically I learned from hands-on and some books and some of his material. And Al's got some reputation for catching big fish, and we were talking about it earlier, that big rigged eels like this probably is the best bait to catch those giant bass off the beach, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably one of the best lures. It's actually a lure. It's not so much as a bait. You fish it as a lure, and it's very deadly under the right situations.
Now take us through the equipment that we need to rig an eel the old-fashioned way. Okay,
well, for starters, you need an eel. Nice 18 to 20-inch eel. Those are the best size for casting. You can cast them into a wind. We use Siwash hooks by Mustad. They're 951 0 XXX DT hooks. They're a solid point hook. These hooks here are 9.0s. They don't make 9.0s anymore, but you can use the same style in an 8.0.
Now, why such a big hook?
You want to use the big hook because the bottom of the hook, as it's sewn into the eel, which we'll see later, actually acts as a keel, and it helps the eel swim better.
Oh, okay.
A rigging needle, which is used, and 2 different styles of Dacron. I like to use 150 or 160 pound Dacron for sewing in the inside of the eel, And then I use 30-pound black Dacron to sew the outside and the head.
Now, we also have to de-slime the eel, and we have to kill the eel. How would you do
Right.
that?
Probably the best way to do it is you take your eels, you put them in a bucket with some water, you let them swim around for a day or two, and they actually starve. Their stomachs will shrink a little bit. Then to kill them, you want to take some tobacco from a cigarette, drop it in the water with the eels, and within 5 or 10 minutes, the eels are done. You let them sit overnight. The next morning, you can take a couple of rags, and you rub off all the slime, and then you have what we have in front of us here.
And what the folks can see at home is that this eel really feels like almost a snake. It's dry. There's no slime. It's not wet. You can rub your hands on it, and there's no moisture on your hands at all.
Yep. You got to get the slime off because you can't work with them with the slime.
Now, once we have all this stuff ready to go, we're now ready to rig the eel, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll clear the table and give you plenty of room to do that.
Okay.
All right, Joe, we got a towel down. We got a nice dry surface to work on. What's the first thing we have to do to rig the eel?
Okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to crack the spine of the eel, so that way the eel doesn't get rigor mortis and the eel will swim freely in the water.
Now, how do we do that?
So you just take a rag or a towel, anything, grab the eel by the head, then grab the eel by the tail, and you just pull, and you could...
Oh, yeah, you can hear it snap.
That's it. Do that about 4 times, you break the vertebrae,
right,
and that's it. And the eel's ready to be
limber,
sewn.
ready to go. Now we got to snell a hook.
Right.
Now let's take the folks through snelling a hook.
Okay. When you buy these hooks, you have to close the eyes. They come with open eyes. You take your end, you lay it on the shank of the hook.
Okay.
You want to come down right where it's even with the barb. And you take your other side, and then you go the opposite way. So you have going that way and that way.
Right.
Now you take this, and then you want to wrap over and down.
And make sure the loops are tight together.
And usually I go about 7 times. I hold it in my hand, and then I pull the tag end straight through.
The tag end that was facing forward is the one you pull.
Right. And then here you have your snell.
Okay.
And then what I do is I just cut this
With the scissors, go
tag
ahead.
end.
You can go ahead and trim that. Now the next step we got to do, I guess, is rig the needle so we can get this hook into the vent of the eel.
Correct. And all we do with that is, like I said, the flat needle. This just goes right through, like so. And now we're ready.
Okay. Go ahead and take us through it, Joe.
Okay. What you want to do is you want to leave a little slack in your Dacron. You hold it on your pinky, like so.
Right.
You want to pick up your eel, and you want to insert the needle through the vent of the eel.
Okay.
And when you go in, you want to try to run the needle along the belly of the eel. You don't want to go too deep because then you're going to get them in the spine. So as you can see, the needle running along
Oh, yeah,
the
you
belly.
can actually see it like tremors going right through the bottom of the skin there.
Right. Look at show the camera there.
Right.
So go right through. Now when you get to the head, you just got to push it through a little bit, and then you open his mouth.
And feel for the needle.
Feel for the needle, and there we go.
Okay.
Then you pull. You hold your hook.
Pull the slack out.
And there we go.
Okay. And now we got to just pull this to get it in there tight, right?
Right. Now what we have to do is we got to put our hook through the vent of the eel. The best way to do that, you hold it firmly, keep the hook sideways, pop it through, twist it, and insert it. Pull out the slack, and there you go. There's your first hook.
Okay. Now, are we going to tie this hook in place, or are you going to do the front hook first?
First we have to snell the second hook to the Dacron.
Okay.
And it gets inserted into the head of the eel.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. What you want to do is you want to line up your eye of your hook, where you're going to tie your line to or your swivel, and measure where your hook's going to come out of. So what I do is just make a little dot so I know. I take the hook, I insert it through the mouth, I come out where my mark is, pop it through, bingo.
And now we've got 2 hooks in the eel ready to go. Now the next step is, and you can see just how large these hooks are, folks, and like you said, Joe, it's going to act as a keel to really give us a swimming motion.
Right.
Now, what do we do now? We have to snell the
Okay,
front
now
hook.
we have to connect our tail hook Dacron to the front hook.
Okay.
So what we do is you want to just pull the hook back a little bit and pull some slack along the shank of the hook.
Okay.
Take the end of your Dacron, you go through the eye, and then you want to wrap it around like we were snelling it before.
Right.
You get about 5 turns, use your finger, you go around, come through, and basically this is just a half hitch.
Okay.
You do that about 4 times.
And that really secures it in there.
That'll lock it in tight. It's not going to come apart.
But when you snell a 150-pound Dacron, there's nothing pulling that apart.
No. And there you go. And if you look at it, you can see how the knots lay.
Mm-hmm.
They get tight in there and they're not coming out. And then you just want to cut the access off.
Okay. So now we've got 2 hooks snelled in the eel. And if you turn the other side there, Joe, you can see they're both perfectly in line with each other, which is a key ingredient, too, to make sure both keels are running straight, right?
Right.
Hey fishermen! For the most comprehensive reports and fishing information on the internet, log on to www.thefishingline.com. Thefishingline.com has fishing reports for boats, surf, freshwater, or party and charter boats for Long Island's tri-state area. Now you can listen to the Fishing Line radio show live on the web, Saturdays at 4 p.m., or see video clips of the TV show. Know where they are, not where they were, with thefishingline.com. What you need to know in fishing, it's www.thefishingline.com.
Hey Surfcasters, would you like to learn the real secrets of the surf game? Well, now you can by fishing with licensed guide and TV host Rich Johnson of The Fishing Line. Whether a beginner or a surf rat, learn to read the beach, fish plugs, or bait, and all quality tackle is supplied free. Fish 1 or 2 people or get gift certificates. From Montauk to New York City, get consistency and quality in your fishing game by fishing with Rich Johnson of The Fishing Line. Call 516-889-6895. That's 516-889-6895 or thefishingline.com.
You know, while Joe Gullo was rigging those giant eels, you have to know where and what time of year to get those kind of big jumbo eels. We're here at the South Shore Fish Market in Island Park. My fish market specialist, Artie Hording, he's going to tell us all about it right now, so come on in. We're getting ready to rig some eels with Joe Gullo. We're doing a couple different shows here today, and Artie Horning from the South Shore Fish Market is with us as we're here. And these big eels that we're using on today's show, they're not available really all year long. There's certain times of the year you get them, right, Artie?
Late summer, early to mid-fall is the best time. They're large at that point. They're fat. You got a good quality skin, and they're looking to bed down and hibernate for the winter.
So you want to come into a place like Artie's South Shore Fish Market. There's other fish markets like Corey over in Freeport. He can get eels and things of that nature. He's one of the industry guys who wholesales them out. But you go to your local fish market like the South Shore Fish Market here around the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, when you go through a lot of eels, you know what? Maybe you come in, you do enough business with Artie, he might save some of those skins in a basket for you.
Absolutely.
And you come get them later on in the
or
season.
we put them in a freezer, you know. You have to think for the following season. You get them around the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, and put them away and put them in the freezer. And then when the striped bass run starts in May, June, July, you can rig them up. And you have them for that year, the following year.
That's right. So let's get back to Joe Gullo and rigging eels right now.
Now this is the most important part, is sewing in the hooks to keep them straight.
Okay.
So what you do is you want to start with your tail hook first.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is, when you grab the eel, you could feel the eye of the hook. And the idea is to put the needle through the skin of the eel, through the one circle of the hook, through the eye, and out the tail. So what I do is, I'm going to take the Dacron. This is the 30-pound Dacron.
Right.
I just twist it so it stays on. Now I feel for my eye of my hook.
Mm-hmm.
Take my needle. I go through the skin, through the eye, out the body. Now to check to make sure you're in, just give it a little pull. You can feel it. It's
And you can
caught
see
in
the
there.
needle wiggling too.
Right.
Okay.
Now you're locked in. You know your thread's through.
Mm-hmm.
You pull it. You hold one end. Bring it through. Okay? Now you have your Dacron through the eye of the one side.
Right.
Now you take it. You make an overhand knot. You go once, twice. Okay? That'll cinch on the knot and keep it tight.
Right.
So you don't have to hold your finger on it like you're wrapping a package.
Mm-hmm.
And now the idea is to pull it down, and you pull it tight. Okay? And that holds like that. Then you just make 1 or 2 more overhand knots.
Because even if a giant bass took this and separated the Dacron that you're tying now, the 150 Dacron running through the eel connects the 2 hooks to your running line.
It doesn't matter if he rips that whole eel off. He's still going to have those 2 hooks in him, and that Dacron's not going to break.
And it's just a matter of half hitches over half hitches.
That's it.
Overhand knots.
I just trim off the excess here. My scissors. Try to get as close as possible. And there you have a nice flush sew in there.
Okay.
Now we have to do the same thing on the other side of the hook, because we want to go through the other side of the eye. So we repeat the same process again. Use the black Dacron.
Because right now, if you didn't do the other side, theoretically you could have a lopsided eel right now.
Right.
Okay.
And we do the same thing. We're going to feel for the eye of the hook. You're going to go in right next to your previous hole, through. You pull on your needle. You see you're in. Pull your needle through. You hold one end.
And this is obviously a technique, and through editing process, this is not going to take folks at home 2.5 minutes to do. There's some time
No, this
involved
is
in
about, once you get it down good, it's about a 15-minute process. We have to repeat the same process with this hook.
Okay.
Okay, and as you can see now, this hook is sewn in. It's sturdy, it's straight, it's not moving. Now we want to do the same thing here. This one's a little more trickier, but don't get intimidated. It's not that bad.
I'll try not to, Joe. But I did notice you lined up the eye of the hook with the front tip of the bottom jaw.
Right, because that's where you're going to be tying your line to, or you're going to be connecting your swivel to.
To the bottom, right.
Right. So what I'm going to do is, on the jaw of the eel, it's a half a moon. There's his jaw. You want to go underneath his jawbone. You just pop the needle through the eye of the hook, and then through the eye socket of the eel.
And don't worry, folks, this eel's been dead quite a few days now. So.
You don't feel it.
No.
Okay, and there we go. We're through the bottom, through the eye of the eel. Same situation. You want to take it, tie your double knot,
Go through twice.
cinch it down, and then do your series of 3 overhands.
Now, how long should this take somebody at home to do, Joe, to take this from scratch?
I'd say a first time eel rigger, maybe 20 minutes the first time. I've been doing this for 20 years, so I got it pretty much down to a science. Now we want to do the same thing on the other side.
Okay.
So I'm going to take my last piece of thread here that we pre-cut earlier,
Right.
put it through my needle.
And once somebody finishes this process, go ahead, Joe, they can just store these in the freezer, defrost them, freeze them, defrost them,
Right.
freeze them as many times as they
When we're
want.
done, I'm going to show you how to store them
Okay.
and do the same process. You go underneath this jawbone, through the eye of the hook,
Through the other side of the other eye now.
right, and out the eye socket.
And again, what you've done is you've balanced the hook and put it in place so it's not lopsided on the eel one way or the other.
Correct.
Because for this to swim right, folks, you need a true keel, an even straight keel for this thing to swim in the water.
Right. This is actually going to be almost like a lure, Rich. That's going to swim basically like a swimming plug or something, but without a lip or an added weight to make it swim. It's going to do it all on its own.
Now, you've caught some big 50-pounders right off the beach here in Long Beach, and rigged eels like this work anywhere on the East Coast. The Cape, they love them up in the Cape.
Right.
Montauk, a lot of folks are slinging rigged eels in Montauk. North Shore, South Shore doesn't make a difference, does it?
Right. The only difference is some areas you have a little deeper water. Some guys like to rig them with the bead chain in the middle. Some guys add a little solder around the head for weight. But locally for this area, basically the South Shore, it's not that deeper water. This is basically what you want to use.
And this
right
will
here.
work in Montauk as well.
Absolutely.
Hey folks, you've been coming to the fishingline.com site for years for the only up-to-the-minute fishing reports on the web. Now get the same great reports 24 hours a day by telephone. That's right, the new Fishing Line report line is up and running, and best of all, it's free. No membership fees, no pay-by-the-minute fees, it costs you nothing. A free phone call for the best updated reports 24 hours a day, all by phone. Call 516-977-2088, 516-977-2088.
Hey Surfcasters, would you like to learn the real secrets of the surf game? Well, now you can by fishing with licensed guide and TV host Rich Johnson of The Fishing Line. Whether a beginner or a surf rat, learn to read the beach, fish plugs, or bait, and all quality tackle is supplied free. Fish 1 or 2 people or get gift certificates. From Montauk to New York City, get consistency and quality in your fishing game by fishing with Rich Johnson of the Fishing Line. Call 516-889-6895. That's 516-889-6895 or thefishingline.com.
Hey fishermen! For the most comprehensive reports and fishing information on the internet, log on to www.thefishingline.com. Thefishingline.com has fishing reports for boats, surf, freshwater, or party and charter boats for Long Island's tri-state area. Now you can listen to the Fishing Line radio show live on the web, Saturdays at 4 p.m. or see video clips of the TV show. Know where they are, not where they were, with thefishingline.com. What you need to know in fishing, it's www.thefishingline.com.
Last step, the most critical?
Okay, the most important thing now is sewing the head together, okay? So what you want to do is you want to pick up your reel, you want to hold it, you want to make sure that your hooks are lined up, which they're perfectly straight, okay? Now this is an old knot I learned from a guy up in the Cape. I don't know what the name of it is, but the guy just said this is the knot, so that's what it is. You take your 30-pound Dacron and you double it up, okay? Now I'm right-handed, so I'm going to do it this way. You have a loop. You're going to take your 2 fingers, and then you're going to grab, and you have a loop, okay?
Right.
Then you're going to do the same thing again. Take
Like
your
a cat's
fingers,
cradle, yeah.
go through one more time, and you cinch it down, and that is a knot right in there. It's like a slip knot, and the more you pull it, the tighter it gets. So now what you want to do is, this is the important part here. You want to take the loop and you want to put it right over your 2 pieces of Dacron that you sewed in earlier.
Through the eyes.
Through the eyes. You want to get that right snug on there.
And since the tip of the round end of the eye of the hook is right there at the tip of the bottom jaw, you're really cinching down below the eye?
Right.
Okay.
And if you remember earlier how we put our half hitches in when we snelled the second hook, this Dacron will actually bite into that and it will cause it as a stopper so the eel won't fall down. Now this part you got to kind of use both your hands, and you want to pull and turn, and as you can see, the knot is secure.
Right.
Once you get the knot secure, you want to pull it, and as you see, it'll go nice and tight.
Right.
And there you go. You'll feel the Dacron squeeze into the other Dacron. Now you're locked in. You do your same thing.
And you still have access. The mouth is still open just a little bit to give you access to the eye of the hook.
Right. Do your 2 knots, and then your series of overhands.
Any particular number of overhands you want to do,
Usually
Joe?
3.
Okay. That's your lucky superstitious number.
Yeah, that's the way I was taught.
Then you
And
trim
then
that.
you cut your excess off. Okay. Now, here's your reel. Now what you have to do is one more step. Where his mouth is, I just use the back of the needle and I just pop the mouth a little bit away from the eye of the hook. I take a pair of scissors, I snip that away. Now you have a nice area to put your tie direct, or if you want to fish a swivel.
Now, how do you tie your running line from the rod? You don't use snap on this, obviously. You want to tie direct, right?
Some people use a snap. I don't recommend it because when the fish hits an eel, especially a rigged eel, they hit the bait head first. And I would rather have it tied direct and have a snap that has a chance of opening on a big fish.
We're using a shock leader.
Yep.
Barrel swivel up front, 60 to 80 pound test directly to this eye of this front hook, right?
Right. I would, fishing this kind of stuff, you need the beefier tackle. You're going to need a pretty heavy duty rod, a conventional or a spinning rod. You got to fish at least 25-pound test. I like to fish 25-pound test. I use a 75-pound barrel swivel, and then I use a 3-foot piece of 60-pound monofilament as a leader. I don't like the leader material. It's too stiff and the eel doesn't swim right.
Remember, folks, this is big bass stuff. You're not going to catch a lot of 20-inch fish in this. This is all or nothing, basically.
Yeah. 9 out of 10 times when you set up on a fish with the rigged eel, you really don't have to worry about measuring them.
It's going to be a big fish, and you can see, folks, just how limber. It's got no spine.
Nope.
It's like jelly. And maybe I'll get a 50 this year.
That's your key to your 50, Rich.
Now, how are we going to store this, Joe, so we can use it, reuse it over and over and over again until the bluefish bites in the head?
Okay, the best way to store it that I found is you just take the eel and you put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in there, roll it up, put it in the freezer, just like that. You're ready to use it, you take it out a half hour before you go fishing, and it'll be nice and defrosted. You fish with it. When you're done, same thing. You can store it up to 6 months.
And make sure you do a couple of these, because if you go down to the beach with one rig deal and a bluefish bites in the first cast, there goes your trip.
That's a guarantee. You go with one, you're going to get a bit off.
Joe, thanks a lot for your help.
You're welcome.
The Fishing Line with Rich Johnson was brought to you by Marine Formula Stable. To prevent the damaging effects of ethanol in your fuel tank, use Marine Formula Stable. And by the Long Island Power Authority. More choice, better service, LIPA. And by the Fishing Report Hotline. 24-hour fishing reports. By phone when you need them.
Hey fishermen! For the most comprehensive reports and fishing information on the internet, log on to www.thefishingline.com. Thefishingline.com has fishing reports for boats, surf, freshwater, or party and charter boats for Long Island's tri-state area. Now you can listen to the Fishing Line radio show live on the web, Saturdays at 4 p.m., or see video clips of the TV show. Know where they are, not where they were, with thefishingline.com. What you need to know in fishing, it's www.thefishingline.com.
Oh, fish on, here we go. Hey, folks, when I'm not out here doing the Fishing Line television show, guess what I'm doing? I'm on WGBB 1240 AM, bringing you the Fishing Line radio show every Saturday afternoon with up-to-the-minute fishing reports throughout the show, weekly guest experts sharing their tips and secrets, and we take your phone calls live on the air. If you want to know where the fish are, not where they were, join me every Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. on WGBB 1240 AM radio for the Fishing Line. Hey folks, you've been coming to the FishingLine.com site for years for the only up-to-the-minute fishing reports on the web. Now get the same great reports 24 hours a day by telephone. That's right, the new Fishing Line report line is up and running, and best of all, it's free. No membership fees, no pay-by-the-minute fees, it costs you nothing. A free phone call for the best updated reports 24 hours a day, all by phone. Call 516-977-2088, 516-977-2088.
Hey surfcasters, would you like to learn the real secrets of the surf game? Well, now you can by fishing with licensed guide and TV host Rich Johnson of The Fishing Line. Whether a beginner or a surf rat, learn to read the beach, fish plugs, or bait, and all quality tackle is supplied free. Fish 1 or 2 people or get gift certificates. From Montauk to New York City, get consistency and quality in your fishing game by fishing with Rich Johnson of The Fishing Line. Call 516-889-6895. That's 516-889-6895 or thefishingline.com.